Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. Welcome to my channel and welcome back if you are returning. We are on the final episode of working on the mini scenes. There are 16 of them, so I am going through 16 sets of pencils. And it is the last big page of this book that I am so excited to almost be finished with. So let it just jump right in. We finished off with the metallic Castle Arts metallic mushrooms, and now we get to change gears. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more here, and we are going to work in a different medium. So this is probably one of my few times now of doing a wet application in the midst of all the dry. So it is Derwent Inktense today, and I have chosen to keep things very simple and under control. I'm going to use a blender pen. This is a water-based pen, blender pen from Stampin' Up, and it is quite old, years old. So I wanted to use my Marvy blender pen, but I don't know where it's off hiding right now. Again, because of my vacation last week, I had to put everything away. So we're going to start with the mushroom cap. And the mushroom cap is going to be chili red. I sharpened these for the first time. Here, let's show you all 6, just for fun. So there we go. We've got 6 lovely, beefy cores. This is probably a 3.8 to 4 millimeter core. The barrels are quite large. They feel, they're the same, Derwent Lightfast it's the same chunky feeling as those. Only these are India ink. So I get one chance to wet them, and when they wet and then they dry, they are a permanent color. I can add more, but I won't be able to remove any color. So I'm going to be sparing on this. And then we'll see if I need to add another coat. So that is chili red again, which is 500 is the color, and I will have all of the colors. I have a paper towel handy, and I will be making sure, because I did use this very electric blue last, so I am cleaning. The tips do stain on these over time, but you can just keep wiping until the color disappears. And then, even though it looks blue to you, it is actually cleaned. So this is actually not water. It is some other, I think it's water-based, but there we go. So once that dries, if I wanted to add more, I'm going to go ahead and immediately clean off. And we're going to move on to the stem. And the spots are going to be Oak 1730. I am going to now activate. If I haven't mentioned it before, or you haven't watched me use these, they are a super fast. I am going to let the chimney be this color as well. That's not how I did it on the mock-up. I think I will like that a little bit better. We have a teeny bit of yellow in our window. Cleaning off the brown, and then activating that yellow, cleaning that yellow off. Let's get some green going. The green is 1520 Hooker's green. It's a pretty vibrant green, so I'm going to focus on these 3 little hatchings, little grass tufts. Let's see how that looks. I cleaned it off, but I am testing the tip to make sure it really is clean. I want it to be darker on the bottom and then lighten as I go to the top of the stems of grass. And that is looking great. I'm doing a little kind of a pat, pat, pat. Now, if I wanted, just because I want to show you that it's still wet, I am adding more green, and it is darkening everywhere I'm applying it because it is activating as I color with it. So that's just one other way you can use these, and I like that. Okay, cleaning green off. I now have a blue, my door and the bottle color, green aquamarine 1220. I thought the door would be cute, being the same color as the jar. And then the jar, I'm going to just be softly adding the color. We'll see if I need to add more. I'm not adding a lot. All right, I am ready. Being brave here. Let's just see. It is very vibrant. And I'm doing large sweeps because I want to stretch it out. Yeah, that's coming out okay. And my little door. I'm dabbling, little dab, 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 dab. And then the last bit is Payne's Gray for the cloud. I'm going to clean this very vibrant blue. I don't have as much this time. I tried to be careful with it. So the gray. Wherever there's little dots, I'm adding some gray. This is the color I had the chimney on my mock-up, and I thought it would be better to have it be brown. And I'm going to do a quick activate. And this one is done. So these are a super fast way to color. And you could still add dry pencils for more detail if you wanted. But I am very happy with how that came out. Again, I will be adding white. So one is done. The next is going to be, we've got Kalour Black Barrel. These are a really beefy core. I have quite a few pencils because I wanted to do that key in gold. So let's talk about the gold color combo. See how well I can replicate it here. So I'm using a brighter gold is my goal. So here's what we've got. 4 colors, because it's not very big. We have Canary Yellow, number 4. Olive Yellow, number 150. Desert Yellow, 53. And Earth Tone, 95. Additional colors, you could do a bright orange, and you could do like a black. I hardly ever use black in my golds. I tend to keep them softer than that. So for me, let's just get this moved over. I'm going to do some reflection lines on both sides. The key itself is so narrow. I'm just kind of doing my best to put in just a little spark of yellow. Next, I'm going to go to the olive yellow, and I will go ahead on one side or the other. I will add a little bit of this not quite very dark tone. It seems I am putting it on the right side, so I'm going to do that on both areas. Then I'm going to move to this orangey desert yellow, which is my orangish brown color. And I'm going to put it on the other side. And I'm just doing some lines here. And my final color is going to be this Earth Tone 95. And I'm going to put this as a shadow line on the left side. And then I think I'm going to add a little bit of a shadow on the right as well. So this is a pretty beefy core. I have the opportunity to use the little brother, as I will call it, for this pencil, which is the full color barrel version, which is a much smaller core, but it's the same formula. And for an image this small, I do find it's hard to manipulate the pigment really easily, and because the 4mm is so big. But there's my gold, just something pretty simple. And now we're going to move right along. That was fun. I've got the flower itself is going to be two-tone. It's going to be Lilac 41 and Pale Pink number 12. The lilac is the shadow color at the base of the petals. And then the pink moving out. You see how big that core is? Very hard. So I do prefer, on these teeny tiny images, I prefer a small core. I want the bigger core because I want to get as much pigment as I can. But now, through working in this book, I have learned to appreciate the more delicate core pencils. Like the Spearer Farben are very, very pleasant to work with their delicate core. I do have... let's see if I can... I got a little messy right here. The other thing I love about pencils, you can erase. All right, back to the yellow and the kind of orangey tan for the center here. Forgot to do that. Just like so. And then two greens, a dark and a light. Apple green, number 81, and forest green, 11. If I haven't mentioned it already, these are one of my fastest set of pencils that I own. They are super fast. I would say that they have a little more filler in them than other formulas and other brands. So they're a little bit on the translucent side, somewhat like the Brute Funer Fluorescence. So you get as much color as you get, but it really fills in the tooth quickly, and then you're kind of done. and you can't really keep layering more and more color in because you got what you got. But they are very easy to use. I definitely consider these an excellent beginner pencil for somebody to be able to come in and do some nice quick coloring and feel very accomplished, nice and easy. Easy peasy. These are kind of a weird leafy green. I would prefer them to have been closed, not open squiggles, but that's okay. There you go. The last thing I want to do, I want to make my ribbon. Purple. Very nice and easy. All right, loved those. Nice, quick pencils. Barrel's a little bit on the big side, but moving on. I have to move on to the next Lazy Susan. Okay, we've got Black Widows next. This cute little snail. I kept the snail. Looks like that snail is so small I can zoom in a little bit. I'm keeping the color palette for this very simple and neutral. Neutral, natural. Okay, so we've got two peachy colors, a lighter and a darker, DG127 orange petal, and BW03 toadstool, I believe toadstool. If I look at my tips, because you don't have a barrel, you don't have the end, I believe the new sets do come with the end colored, and so the toadstool is the darker of the two, and so I've got this darker. These are a very vivid, easy to lay down color pencil. I'm not sure. I think they're wax based. Yes, they are wax. And they are smooshable. They are, I would consider them, because of the color, trying to match your barrels to your project and keeping track. A lot of people get frustrated with them. I have free downloads for these in the color family order that I have them in, which I believe I got from somebody else. Can't remember who it was, but where I have the coffee shop, I do give credit to the person whose sort order I used. And it provides, the free downloads provide you with my swatch sheet plus a storage case if you have the standard one, the standard larger sized case, which I believe is a 200, because this set is a 196, I believe. So it's a 200 case. I think it's 204. And you have the labels where you can fill them in, and then you also get the labels for my swatch sheets. So that was my little snail's body. And then let's see here, we've got the 3 greens for his leaves and the evergreen trees. And these are, again, hard to see, so I'll show you the barrels. This is why they're kind of difficult. They're written in semi-swirly font. So MN084 Poison. You'll see in some sets the color name is last. In other sets, the color name is first. And then the set name is part of the numbering code. So MN84, Green Grass, SC82, Cobra, see, confusing, Forest, CB96 is the darkest. Here are the tips that show you the light, medium, and dark. The darkest I'm going to start with because I'm going to put the darkest on these cute little evergreen trees. So these I find extremely frustrating from the organization perspective. Everything I do, I want to be very highly organized, and these are not easily organized. So I wish they were more easily organized because they are highly pleasant to use. I've done different things, like when I used them on my romantic country page, I used them on the camping page. I actually wrapped the colors on the barrels so I could see what the color was, but I haven't done it to all of them. I suppose if I had fewer sets of pencils, I would have made the time to get them as organized as I could. Because for me, it's all about being efficient in my color choices so that I can spend more time actually enjoying the coloring. I'm going to go ahead and leave some white for some highlights on these on the back side because they're very flat, so I'm trying to make them a little more interesting for us. And then I'm using the lightest tone on these big leaves. The middle tone, which is pretty bright. There is a wailing little squirrel outside. That is so cute. And we have lots and lots of critters since Hub likes to feed the birds, which then the birds put the seed on the ground. So we've got lots of squirrels that hang out. We have lots of animals in the yard. It's like the cat. Lucky just doesn't even know how lucky he is having all of these friends. All right, so I'm adding some different tones here to these leaves. We'll make these darker. We got light green, medium, and then these will be dark. Okay, and then the last little bit is the browns. We have two of them. We have Castle and Chalk Tone. Castle is DG 138, Chalk Tone is SD 23, and you can see by their tips that the Chalk Tone on the left is darker than the Castle on the right. So we've got the trunks of the trees. Again, with these, I know that I can go ahead and glaze over the top of the greens. The tooth is all filled in, and so it won't, if I use light pressure like this, it's not going to change the green tone. So that's the start of that, and now I've got this chalk tone, and I'm going to add a little dark shadow and some shadow here. And then I definitely am going to come in to the snail shell and get it blocked in with some nice shading. All right, coming back in with the castle color. I'm adding heavier and heavier pressure as I'm wanting to go ahead and fill in this tooth. I'm grabbing the green because I see needing a little green there, and then look at that tiny bit of brown. And I think we are going to call this little snail done. See, he's like the most, oops, sorry about that. Kind of the most neutral color image that I have done. So again, I could keep working this if I wanted to get rid of every bit of the tooth. These pencils are great for that. If you want the shiny burnished look, they will produce a fantastic finish. While talking here, it's almost done, but I think I will leave it at that. Moving on to our next image, we've got this sweet little jar, just very, very simple. It is the Holbein. I have picked 5 colors, keeping things super simple on this one. I've sharpened all of my tips. These are new pencils for me, so I have not, a lot of them were used, but they were virtually unused. The ones that I did get. So here's my set that I picked. Sand 175, raw umber 184, ice green 228, aqua 323, and evergreen 254. These are a nice beefy, probably not quite as big, but very close as the Derwent Inktense / Light Fast product lines. Pretty darn beefy, nice glossy finish. Because they have the lettering on the very end and the font is pretty big, they're not that hard for me to read compared to some others. We are going to be challenged on the next one. So what I want to do first is take this lovely ribbon and I want to make it parchment colored or neutral. And I'm starting with the sand color. These are a super soft, blendy pencil, not as soft as Prismacolor, not as crayon-like. They're a little bit more my type of pencil than the Prismacolor. Some people love these, some people hate them, so I was kind of torn whether I was going to love them. And I have got along very well with them. Some people get them and they just aren't their thing. So they are very expensive. I did pay a fraction of full price because I bought small lots of them used and then also bought them on sale new. And I did purchase them over time, little bit by little bit. And yes, I only own half now. No, more than half. I own 90 something of them. 90, I believe, of the 150. So there's 60 left. But I do own the Britfuner Pastel, which is kind of a knockoff, and they have like the identical colors. So I really own almost the full set. But I will slowly finish this off. I'm going to use the light blue here, Aqua 323. The oil that these are made with is an animal fat, from what I've heard. That is unique to them. I'm not sure if that's what gives them their kind of unique, silky-ish, soft feel. Not quite buttery, not quite as silky as Polychromos, not quite as buttery, crayony as the Prismacolor. So they're a little bit different in that way. And they are very vibrant. The green is Evergreen 254. we've got the jar, Ice Green 228. And I will be coming back in with white, as this is one of the glass jar projects, so I will do a little more treatment to this in the end. There you go, as simple as can be, and we are done with that one. 5 pencils. Simple, simple. All right, now we're going to the opposite. We have one of the most difficult to read pencils. They are fantastic. They are about the same price as the Holbein. Full price. I believe even on sale they're about the same if you get them on sale through like Dick Blick. So it is the Caran Luminance. I have this cute birdhouse to work on. We are almost done. All right, so for this birdhouse, it's got some stripes, so I'm embracing the stripiness with a single color, 580. So you'll see that this is the tiniest, teeniest vertical squishy lettering ever. And the white is the newer versions. There was a set created. First it was 72, and then they came up with like 28, which was a 24 set plus some 4 individuals, I believe. But here's the more difficult to read version with the silver. So I do have numbers put on some of them to make it easier for me, 580. The name is anthraquinone carmine. Yeah, I can read that actually through the camera lens. So this is just going to be a single color for the body. You can light layer these. You can go heavy pressure with these. They are somewhat silky, kind of just like the Holbein. In fact, they feel a lot like the Holbein because I just did the Holbein. Sort of silky, but a little bit butterier than the silky polychromos. Softer. They're very fantastic to blend. I hear Hub is up. We'll see if I have to do a quick pause. We're so close to done. He is notorious for this. He took a really long nap today. Gave me lots of time to get prepared. But not quite enough time to actually finish. These are a little on the messier side. They can crumble. I have broke a few tips by using heavy pressure, so they're a little bit on the sensitive side to use. They work really well with like blending tools. They do all the things really well. I think I have one color, can't remember, it might be the raw umber. One of the colors of brown has some damage in it, like it has foreign matter, so it scratches my paper. And I bought these a long, long time ago and did not notice it till way after the fact. I don't think I even swatched them forever. All right, so that's what we're going to do for the moment with the red. Moving on to these lovely, we have 3 greens. And I wanted to go with 2 different tones. I actually have a 4th interesting green here. So Let's see if we can read these to you. All right, so the light green is this green ochre, 25. We have spring green for 70, grass green 220, and dark English green 729. So these are just very challenging. But what I've got here is this lovely weird color. Love it. Green ochre. This actually would be a nice, going back to that key that I did with the gold, this would make a nice middle, kind of a brassy looking gold tone to add. All right, so then we've got the very bright. These are a pretty fast pencil to work with. You can smush very readily. No need to light layer if you don't want to. I'm going now to the darkest green. This is a pretty blue green, like a peacock type green, very pretty. Doing some super soft, because I can mix these colors very easily. Now I'm going with the grass green. That green is called dark English green. I am leaving the very tips of the leaves for a final color, a lighter color. Let's try this lovely light green. All right. Cute. We've got the only use of black. I've grabbed the black. There wasn't really a dark enough gray to fill in the hole here. So this is a rare case of me using black, which is a very rare thing indeed. There you go. Perfect. Next, I've got two browns, and they're actually, one is a percent of the other. This set does a lot of that. So sepia 10% 902 and sepia 50% 906. And I want these to be the wood. Wood trim pieces. Oh my gosh, there's these squirrels hanging out. There are 3 of them. Someday I'm going to video this. I have a window that goes very low, and it has bushes along the whole side of the house. These squirrels play in the bushes, and I mean, they're at my eye level. It is just hilarious. They don't even know it. I get to spy on them all day long. Alrighty, so close to done. All right. I am using heavy pressure now with this lighter sepia, 10%. Next, I've got two really simple flowers. Look at this, so fast. Yellow, and they're white. Moving on to the last set, we will see if I can beat Hub. I still hear him. He has not presented himself yet. So we're going to just keep on. This is the last set. It is the Kalour. We've got lots of colors involved. These are the 3.3 millimeter core, exact same color, same size, 180, exactly the same as, let's see if I still have one nearby, the same as the black barrel. The only difference is the core size. Check out the slender core on the left and the beefy core on the right. And there is a difference in price, and they do feel different when you use them. I actually prefer, cannot believe that I am saying this, but I do prefer the 3.3 millimeter core on these tiny images. So what have we got here? I have two reds for the top of my mushroom. Here they are, burgundy 160 and brownish red 45. So I am going to those. I've got lots of pencils sitting here beside me. All right, so let's just get this burgundy going for the top of my mushroom. These again are the very quick to use, easy for beginners. I feel they're easy to read. Look at how easy this is. I mean, yes, you've got the inverse. The 160 is inverted with the dropout, but look at that burgundy. You do not need reading glasses to see that. I do love an easy to read pencil. Now the numbers are, it's not perfect because the numbers are just nonsensical. I do prefer the lovely numbered 1 through 1, whatever the set size is my preferred. In my dream world, they would all be that way. All right, and now I'm moving to that brownish red, just to give it a little depth. I could have done a third, but I've already got enough pencils. I still think this gives it a lovely tone, an ombre tone. The squirrels are being really noisy here next to me. I'm trying not to look at them. I have to stay focused. All right, that's my top. I then grabbed two tones to be for the stem, pale yellow, 158, and 106 dark yellow. And this dark yellow is for the stem shadowing. And here's pale yellow, which is just perfect. I am going to softly glaze over the top of that pale yellow because I want it to be a more gradual lightening. Now I can go with this pale, use heavy pressure, fill in the tooth. I would say that the blending with this set is not quite as good as like the neighbor right next door, the Luminance. Not quite as good as the Holbein, but still very nice for the price point. Very easy to use. There we go. And then the bottom here, I've got a little dark. All right. Greens. I have two little very simple greens. I've got a light and a dark. The dark is actually a middle forest green 11 and dark yellowish green 105. I think just for fun. No, that's not the same. Here we go. Just for proof. Here is the forest green that I used the other day. And here is the forest green I'm using today. And they look very different, but they are exactly the same formula. And the core, again, is thin on the left, thick on the right. All right. There's that. And I think I want the blades of grass to be darker. I've got 2 blues. I am not going to use these blues the way you might think. Pale blue 178, cerulean blue number 3. And I am going to take this dark yellow and I'm going to just do a little shadow line. And then I'm not doing sky. These are light blue flowers. Yep, all of the flowers are going to be blue. A mix of the light and the dark. Here's the dark. Let's get a few more. And we are finished. Look at that. We're only at 48 minutes. Wonderful. So that concludes my 16 images. I am going to back up now. Well, first we're going to not zoom. And we've got the whole page here. I am looking through the lens. I am going to say, just on visuals alone, my favorite. I'm just moving all these pencils out of the way. My favorite is the Brute Funer Square. That is the winner chicken dinner. Loved using them. I really loved the Evazar. And Polychromos was very lovely. Black Widows, those look great and very pleasant. So those are the most pleasant of the bunch for me. You guys can toss me your thoughts. What do you guys think from what you've seen and what you've watched? If you've been coloring along, let me know what your favorites are. If you have different favorite sets, not as many sets, I'd love to know your thoughts. Do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, consider subscribing. We're going to press on. We will be working on 2 dragons next. Each one will be its own set, and I'm not sure. I will probably be working this week on doing a couple of extra coloring days instead of my normal 4 to try to make up for lost time. And I hope to see you all at the next one. Take care.